Alright, this is another part to the 2.5 horsepower Hercules project. Have all my bearings cleaned up, all degreased. Having a good look at them. They're not in bad shape at all. There's no cracks in the surface area. Came out pretty well. There's some light scoring, but it doesn't really matter in these Babbitt bearings. It'll be alright. These will do just fine. You can see when they poured these bearings, they left some air pockets originally. See a few of them there. The connecting rod bearings, you can see that they weren't wearing all the way around. I don't know if you can see. There's a shiny spot in the center there, and there's dark spots on each side. And that goes for each half too. You can see where it was only wearing in the center there. And there's a bit more scoring on these, but yeah, nothing to really worry about. They'll be just fine. I've made my head gasket already. It's a pretty thick material, nice and strong. And I cleaned the valves up. I'm gonna lap them now. See, the valve surfaces don't look that bad. There's no pitting. But one thing I do notice, which is pretty obvious, is these may be the original valve heads, but these are not the original valve stems. You can see somebody's lathe work, which was less than perfect. They were cutting it down. I guess the stems were worn pretty badly. Yeah, so I believe I can clean that valve stem up with some emery paper. Be able to use it. You can definitely feel it when you rub your fingernail on it. It's definitely there, but it'll clean up all right. Just as long as it won't wear the guide and the head prematurely because it's rough, but it'll be all right. Yeah, not too apparent on the intake valve, but whoever did this might not have had to turn that down. It might have been the correct size. Not sure why there's a step up here. I guess it's whatever stock was laying around was what was used to replace these stems. And then of course they were just peened over. I guess it worked for a time. Yeah. Alright, taking a look at the cylinder head. The valve seats, they're not in bad shape. No major pits. Doesn't look like there's too much wear. So they should do good with just the lapping. Clean them up, and they'll be good to go. The head surface is actually pretty flat all the way around. It's a little off where the welds are for this broken out piece. There's a little step right there, you can see. It's not that bad though. Yeah, I can clean that up with just a hand file, and it'll be good to go. Alright, now before I get started, I want to show you this tool that I made out of just a screwdriver. I took a little piece of steel stock milled 2 notches in it. And I've got 2 1032 screws coming up with points on them. And I use this when I'm working on these style valves here, because you can see that the head of this valve, it's not perfect. Like I said, these stems were replaced, so you can see somebody's been grinding on it there to grind off the old stem. So they're a little bit pitted. They were never perfect from the factory. So they do have these 2 holes in them here, which I made this tool so you can mate it up like that. And instead of using that suction cup, which really sometimes doesn't work very well on these types of valves, with the worn head and everything, it won't seal. You won't get that vacuum seal, So with that, you can go back and forth normally. You won't have to worry about it popping off every 3-4 seconds. And the notches are in them just so they're adjustable for all different valve sizes. That's about as small as they go right there, so I was lucky that I was able to do these valves. But I've done larger engines and had to spread them out farther, but this just happens to be the smallest set of valves I've done with this tool. So I'll pull this valve out. Put a little grinding paste on there. The only downside with this tool is when you have the suction cup, you can usually pull it up a little bit to to get the grits back on the valve face there. This one you can't. Okay, after one go around lapping on the exhaust valve, or sorry, the intake valve, that's what the seat ended up looking like. You can see there's a good ring all the way around it where it's been worn down, and the valve seat in the head about the same. Could use another go around though, so I'll redo the intake valve. I'll show you what it looks like after a second go around. Alright, well, finished lapping the intake valve in, and I'll show you how it came out. Put it over in the light. You can see that that gray area on the valve face there. That's where it was rubbing. Nice and concentric all the way around. And the same goes for the seat in the head. Looks good. Now I'll show you a little trick. just to make sure that you have a good large contact area between the valve seat and the face of the actual valve. I'll show you that. Alright, what you do is you take a candle or a lighter or something. You take your valve, the one you want to check, and you coat the face of the valve seat with soot. Real light coating all the way around it. Just put it in the flame there. And just give it a real light coating with soot from that candle. Okay. Show you what it'll look like. It's all blackened there. Then you pop the valve back in, wiggle it back and forth just a hair while you're pulling down on it slightly, just to simulate the tension of the spring. Let's see if I can get that out now. One hand holding the camera. Alright, now what you want to see is, you want to see where the soot was rubbed off or disturbed. You can see in this valve it's about 85% of the valve face. When I say percentage, I mean the distance from the tip of the valve face to the base of the valve face. About 85% of the way around. Or all the way around, sorry. But yeah, that's pretty good. I should have tried that before I lapped it just to see how bad it was originally, but that looks pretty good. So yeah, then you just gotta do the same thing with the exhaust valve.